July 16th, 1969, Cape Kennedy. 3 men are strapped to the top of the largest rocket ever built by human hands, the Saturn V. The destination is a rock floating 240 miles away in the black void of space, the moon. Now the journey takes about 8 days. It is the most ambitious, dangerous, and insane journey humans have ever attempted. But here's the thing nobody thinks about when they watch that footage. The journey is hundreds of thousands of miles long, but the fate of that mission, whether they make it to the moon or fall back to Earth in a ball of fire, 99% of it is decided in the first 160 seconds. Because in those first 2.5 minutes, the rocket burns through 2,000 tons of fuel, around 95% of its total mass, gone. Just like that. It burns almost all of its energy just to fight the initial gravitational pull of Earth and get out of the atmosphere. And once the rocket hits orbit, once it's 100 miles up, once that first stage drops, the rest of the way, around 99.9% of the way to the moon, is surprisingly quiet. Here's a lesson for you. If you're trying to change your life in 2026, you're probably still in those first 160 seconds. Now, the fitness app Strava has coined this term they call Quitter's Day. They have data from millions of runners and cyclists, and they pinpointed the exact day most people give up on their New Year's resolutions. It's usually right around the second Friday of January. We just passed it recently. So statistically speaking, most people have already fallen off. And if you're still here, if you're still going to the gym, still writing, still working on that project, first of all, congrats. That means you're part of a select few already. But secondly, you might have noticed things getting a little harder recently. The new year, new me high is gone. The novelty has worn off. It's cold, it's boring, and you aren't seeing massive results yet. And so it starts feeling like your own brain is actively working against you. The cravings are getting stronger. The urge to skip just one day gets louder. Psychologists actually have a name for this. They call it an extinction burst. Basically, when you try to kill a bad habit or install a new one, your brain doesn't just accept it quietly. It throws a tantrum. It screams for the old dopamine hit. And usually, that screaming is loudest right before the old habits die. So if you're feeling a massive amount of resistance right now, that isn't a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that the old you is fighting for its life and the new you is winning. But here is where we mess up. We feel this resistance, this intense effort, and we make a calculation error. We look at how hard it feels today, and then we extrapolate that feeling out for the rest of the year. We think, man, if it's this hard in February, how am I going to keep this up until December? I can't grind like this for 10 more months. And that thought is paralyzing. It makes the journey look impossible, but it's a lie. Because nothing ever stays difficult forever. You're assuming the gravity will always be this strong. You're assuming you will always have to burn fuel at this rate just to move forward a tiny bit. But of course, that's not how it works. The hardest part of the curve is temporary. The resistance is front-loaded. And if you stop extrapolating the pain, if you stop living in this imaginary future where you're suffering forever and just focus on getting through this month, the math changes completely. And we actually have data to back this up. There's this famous study from University College London. For years, self-help gurus told us it takes 21 days to form a habit. Turns out that was just some dude in the 60s guessing. It wasn't based on anything. The real number? On average, it takes 66 days for a behavior to become automatic. 66 days until you hit the point where it takes more effort not to do the thing than to do it. Now do the math with me. January has 31 days. February has 28 usually. That's 59 days, 60 days in a leap year. If you stick with your habit through the end of February, you're literally just 1 week away from the finish line. You're 1 week away from the point where the first stage drops off and where you start to become weightless. You escape the gravity of your old life. You can see this pattern everywhere. And one striking example is in the Navy SEAL training process. If you look at the stats, the dropout rate for the recruitment process is brutal. Something like 80% of candidates wash out, but they don't wash out evenly. Most of them quit during Hell Week, which happens very early on in week 4 of the 25-week boot camp. And that's not a bug, it's a feature. The process is designed to front-load the pain. It's a filter. The instructors know that if a new recruit can survive that early spike in difficulty, then it's actually worth it to invest in his training because his chances of finishing the entire program skyrocket. In fact, almost no one drops out after that point. And in your life, February is that filter. It's the gatekeeper. And if you're still here, if you haven't dropped out already, it means you have a very good chance of passing it. So here's my advice for this month. Don't look at the struggle as a punishment. Look at it as a rite of passage. The fact that it's hard right now is actually good news. It means you are doing something real. It means you're separating yourself from the 90% of people who quit 3 weeks ago. You have earned this difficulty. And if you can just hold the line for a few more weeks, if you can just push through this last pull of gravity, you get the ultimate reward. You get to stop fighting yourself. You get to reach that point where the habit takes over, where the discipline becomes automatic, and where the rest of the year becomes natural. You turn that new behavior into second nature. Okay, so that's it for this one. Just a short little reminder to keep going. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more. And if you want to learn more about how you can reach your biggest goals in 2026, watch this video about 3 game-changer personal systems you can build today that will make doing the right things automatic. See you on the next one.